I am Vinnie Tortorich. Folks, your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. Yeah, I get it. Not the normal kind of music I play on the show, but my wife was down here trying to get my computer to work, and she pulled up some music, so we ended up with some Lilith Fair type music. I got to be honest with you, I used to listen to some of that music back when I was mountain biking in a day. So when I heard that song, it's like, ah, kind of reminded me of mountain biking again. So I figured I'd let you guys enjoy it also. We have a repeat guest on the show who, folks, I was literally, they talk about the Great Magnet and all that kind of stuff, and I don't really buy into much of it. But sometimes I was talking about this guy at dinner, and because we were talking about microplastics, and I was with my neighbors, and I was explaining microplastics, and I talked about the last time Mike Keene was on the show, and what he had found when he kayaked around Greenland, and we're going to bring him in right now so we could talk about that. But then we're going to talk about this whole new expedition that Mike is doing, and I think, well, I know I'll find it fascinating. So you guys, if you like this show, you're going to probably also find it fascinating. I'm talking about none other than Michael Keene. Yeah. How's it going, brother?
Hey, what an intro. Yeah, I'm going good. Thanks for having me back, Vinny.
So, you know the story I told you off the air, but I was dining out with some neighbors, and they're older than us, and he goes, "Vinny, are you familiar with this microplastic thing? They're saying humans have X amount of microplastics in their body and in their brain, and this is that problem and the whole thing." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I had a guy on the show maybe a year and a half ago. His name was Mike Keene." And Mike, he's British, and he wanted to take his kayak around Greenland. And I said, I'm not sure how it worked, but someone said, hey, we'll pay for some of your trip if you scoop up some seal shit for us and bring it back, because we're studying seal shit. I'm trying to figure out, how someone got a grant to study animal manure, but that's probably a whole different story. So you did that, and I'm going to let you tell the story, Mike. What did you guys find?
Yeah, pretty much. The whole seal poo thing was a bit of a side quest. The main thing was me eating an Inuit diet for an ancestral Inuit diet for 4 months. No veg, no fruit at all, for the entire 3,500 kilometer expedition. So the seal poo bit was a side quest, and we were analysing it to see what the seals were ingesting, because they feed from the surface down to the bottom of the ocean, so they give a pretty good indication of what's in the sea at that particular point. And yeah, microplastics everywhere. It's pretty well documented now. Most of it is thought to be coming in by rain or snow onto the ice cap, and then coming out from the glaciers and into the ocean that way. But obviously the ocean's another conduit for it as well. So yeah, it's not looking a good picture out there in terms of microplastics, if you can find it in super remote locations like Greenland.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A guy was telling me, it's like, your coffee machine has plastic tubes, and the water goes through plastic tubes. I said, dude, the last thing we need to be worrying about is what's coming through your coffee machine. We got way bigger problems, right? And I always tell the seal story, because you can't get any more remote. I mean, is the North Pole the biggest desert, or is that the South Pole? What's the biggest desert in the world?
South Pole, isn't it? Antarctica, I think. Yeah.
Desert, yeah. And there you are going around Greenland. And first off, how many kilometers again? 3,500?
3,500. Yeah.
So that, folks, I'm going to do quick math. That's about 2,200 miles. Did I get that? I probably got that. I'm pretty good at converting.
That's
so I'm going to say it's about 2,200 miles, which is an incredible amount of time.
Yeah, it was a long way, and I probably lost about 15, 20 days because of bad weather and storms and stuff as well. So, um, yeah, but yeah, I was just eating this ancestral diet because yeah, the how I got into it was I had spent some time in Greenland, and when you're there, it's just rock, ice, and water, and you think, how the hell did the Inuit survive here thousands of years ago? There's me there with my sat phone and my Gore-Tex and my nice tent and all this stuff. But way back they were, making kayaks out of driftwood and clothing and tents out of seal skin and polar bears and stuff. And you think, how the hell did anyone survive out here? So I thought, oh yeah, perhaps I should give it a go, see what happens. So I just ate sea mammals, so seal, walrus, whale, fish, a little bit of reindeer and muskox, and that was it for 120 days or so. A lot of it raw, about 35% of the diet was fat, and I've never felt as energized or alive as I did on that diet. I was bags of energy. I'm not a professional adventurer. I'm not an ex-soldier or athlete or anything like that. I didn't get ill once. I didn't have any injuries. I didn't. I wasn't tired. I was the aim was to kayak for that 30 kilometers a day, but by the end I was doing 70 or 80 kilometers, and I attribute that 100% down to the diet. And kind of immersing yourself into the environment, which is obviously what we've done over millions of years of evolution, but we've kind of chucked it all away in Western society, particularly now by screwing around with nature the whole time.
80 kilometers, that's about 50 miles a day.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know when I go out, I'm a kayaker. So I'll go out. If I do a 25, 30-mile day, you come home, people, I don't think people realize, I think they think guys out there on kayaks are just kind of floating around.
Yeah,
But when you're actually pulling yourself along in a kayak,
yeah.
basically, the way a kayak works is you're forcing a paddle around your body, and then the energy goes through your feet into the footwell of the boat, which pushes the boat forward. I'm just,
Pretty much,
and
yeah.
you're doing that for 50 miles a day.
Yeah.
That's how many calories were you consuming per day when you were doing that?
They
Or do
reckon it
you
was
even know?
between 3 and 4 thousand. So that was it. But the weird thing was, within 3 weeks I'd lost 2 stone. For 14 kilo I dropped in 3 weeks, which kind of scared me at the time because I was thinking, oh damn, I'm using up all my energy reserves. At some point I'm just going to pass out and drown 10 kilometers out to sea or whatever. So my kind of English weight when I'm on carbs and stuff was around 88 kilo, and I went down to 75, 74 kilo, but it bottomed out at that exact weight, and it stayed the same for the remaining 3 months, which kind of amazed me. But then I had the opportunity to go back out a year later to the East Coast this time, but no kayaking. I was working out there, and I thought it'd be great for 3 months if I could go on the exact same diet, but without the exercise, and just kind of compare the two. So I had the same tests, blood test, stool test, all that, and I went down to the exact weight again. In the meantime, I'd gone back up to my English weight again, 88 kilo, but I went down to that exact same weight, 75 kilo, after 4 weeks, and remained the same. So I attribute that to kind of living as in harmony with your natural environment as it's possible to get nowadays. And that 75 kilo is my Greenlandic weight when I'm eating seasonal Greenlandic food. So yeah, and the upshot was, and we spoke to a whole bunch of experts over here, was that exercise has very little impact on weight loss. Unless you're on some kind of Olympic training regime, it's not going to have a lot of effect. It's obviously very important because of your muscle to fat ratio and your general health. But if you want to lose weight, it's all about the food, all about what you're eating. It's not particularly the exercise, which was kind of news to me because I haven't got a medical background, but most of my life I've worked out and I've been trying to get that ideal magazine body, which you're not going to get from from pure exercise. It's got to be you've got to put diet at the top and foremost to do that.
Well, one of my sayings is exercise is a poor way to lose weight. So, folks, he's ramming on about kilos, and he even went into British. He even did stone. So 1
Yeah.
stone, just for everyone following along, is 14 pounds. So if he lost 2 stone, he lost 28 pounds. Let me put it in perspective. 88 kilos is probably around 193 to 95. Let's call it 195 pounds just to be. And if you went down to 75 kilos, you went down to, carry the one, you went down to 165 pounds.
Yeah.
I think I did that math. And if I'm wrong, I'm pretty close. So
Yeah.
you said 75 kilo, right? For the low
Yeah.
weight? Okay, you went from 195 to 165. You lost 30 pounds, and
Yeah.
that's right. So 2 stones, 28 pounds. So, boom,
That was
I'm right. I
yeah,
did all
in
of
under
that.
a month as well. In under a month. So it
Yeah,
was
no,
yeah, it's incredible.
it's kind of crazy because I've been yapping about this with people, telling for years. That's why I love having guys like you on. You know, I've had people who said, I'm going to train for a marathon. I'm not a marathon. I've never run in my life, but I'm going to do a 21-week training thing. And I'm going to go, do this guy's plan or that guy's plan. And I'm going to get to that starting line and I'm going to be sinewy and tight and, ready to
Yeah.
rock and roll. And they literally get to the starting line heavier than when they started working out 21 weeks ago, because the first thing you do when you decide to do a marathon is you go to the running store to buy shoes, and you're going to get some kid who has, who's their mom said, you got to leave the basement and go get a job somewhere. So they go there and someone teaches them one word. They say, put them on this treadmill and tell everyone they're pronating. So they put you on a treadmill. You're pronating. You need this kind of running shoe. It's all bullshit, right? The whole thing is bullshit.
Yeah.
But then when you're leaving the running store, there's like a wall of sugar, right? You could get
Yeah.
bars and goo and powders and
Yeah, it's
more
crazy.
bars and more goo
Absolutely
and more
crazy.
powders. And they can, and if you go read Runner's World magazine, they're going to tell you, hey, you want to run how far? You better start carving up, pal. And it's all backwards and it's all wrong because you went 2,200 miles eating nothing but meat. Now, you said raw meat. So were you killing this meat yourself, or did you have people along the way who offered you, hey, we
Yeah, it's
just
pretty much.
got a
Yeah, I was
caribou
by
here, you
myself.
can have some?
Yeah, I was by myself, so I had a rifle just in case of bears. But it would have been a waste if I'd shot a seal, a 30K seal or whatever, just for dinner. So in the settlements that I was in, hunters and just people were fully behind me, and that they were constantly giving me food, which was brilliant. So yeah, raw seal, walrus, everything seasonal. Yeah, it was a life-changing experience up there.
So they were handing you food you took along raw. Why didn't you cook it before you left just to have cooked meat? Or
Some
because I
places,
don't
yeah. So, some
go
places
on.
I did. If I knew I was going to be like 10 days before the next settlement, I would cook a seal stew or whatever, bag it up. So I just had to reheat it. But I wanted to keep it as true to kind of the ancient Greenlandic diet as I could. And yeah, there's no trees in Greenland, so they've got no history of like slow cooking, barbecuing meat or yeah, or any of this kind of stuff. So a lot of it would have been raw or fermented meat. So probably about 30% of my food was cooked. The rest of it was yeah, either just straight raw and fresh or fermented. They've got a long history of fermented and dried food as well. So that's yeah, awesome with the bacteria and yeah, for the microbiome and all this kind of stuff.
Let me write this down. There was no jet boiler and there was no REI back in the day. Yeah, I know when I think about it, because I think one of the things I talked about last time with you, and I hate being cold for 1 second, right? Like, and I know you live in England. Whenever I go visit my in-laws, I stay dressed all day. And I'm like, am I the only one that's turning blue here? Because you guys, and they're going, oh, just throw on a jumper. And it's like, I don't even know what a fucking jumper is. We call them sweaters. Can we at least use English language around it? You guys can handle cold. I don't get it. And I know how sweaty you can get in a kayak.
Oh God,
So,
yeah.
I mean, how do you handle that? How do you handle being cold all the time? Were you
Yeah.
handling that?
No, it's horrible. And in the kayak, 'cause, you've got a dry suit on, so you get wet instantly. You know what it's like. You're just getting drips from the paddles, and you just get splashed from the waves, and you're pretty much like that the whole time. You really notice it when you stop. So after like a 10-hour kayak, as soon as you stop, you can feel the hypothermia kicking in. So the first thing I learned very quickly was to get your dry bag out with all your dry clothes in, strip off naked, boom, put your dry stuff on, and then you can worry about where you're going to find a campsite and that. So I never took any breaks when I was going, because as soon as you stop, you just start getting really cold really quickly. And it's like
Yeah.
it was between -5 and -12 when I was there. So it's cold, and your water's freezing up in the water bladders on the back, and it's pretty miserable. But I think when you get to a certain age, you kind of and you've had that life experience, you know that whatever crap you're going through is going to pass at some point. So that kind of helped me along the way, my extreme age.
Yeah, and that I was going to bring that up too. It's like you're not a spring chicken, and you're out there doing this stuff, and it makes me, because I'm older, I'm way older, I'm 63, and I think about that. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing anything like that, you know.
Yeah, I was 54 when I did it, and like I said, no history of kind of real Arctic history or athlete or military or anything like that. Just thought it would be a good idea to do. I think looking back, if I'd known what I was getting into, I might have thought twice about it. But ignorance is bliss sometimes, and by the time I started, it was too late to back out. So I was committed then.
Well, your ignorancy is gone now because you're getting ready to go back, and I want to talk about that right after we get through this ad from jasper.co/Vinnie. Jasper, JASPR. There's no E in there. Jasper.co/Vinnie. By putting my name in there, you save $300 on your Jasper. These units are incredible. Look, when you're up in Greenland, the air is fresh all the time, but it might not be so fresh in your house. You can get an air purifier. Good luck with that. I have one of those. Since I've had this Jasper in my office for well over a year now we have one up in the bedroom. That's right. My wife and I introduced something to the bedroom. I don't know if it was a good idea or not, but turned out to be okay because it's a Jasper. And her snoring went from really bad to every now and again she might do a little cute type thing, and that's about it. Jasper.co/Vinnie, VINNIE, saves you $300. Go there right now. These ads will not last forever. So if you want a Jasper, you need to go right now and get it. And Bob's your uncle. We are talking to Michael Keene, a guy who loves to kayak. He loves to be miserable. He loves to be cold. Now he's going to love to be walking across Greenland. All right, first off, let's start with the distance, Mike. What are we talking about?
Yeah, so northwest Greenland, Melville Bay. I'm skiing, pulling a pulk between Kuluswak and Savasivic, which is, as the crow flies, is around 350k. Around that. What's that?
That's about
200 miles?
220 miles or so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's totally across the sea ice. So yeah, it's
Okay.
I'm cutting across the bay, which will be at least a meter thick in ice. So yeah, it's going to
All right,
be
so let's
it's going to be
start with
cold.
this. Let's start with this. Do you know how to ski?
Funnily enough, not very well. The last time I had a pair of skis on was over 40 years ago when I used to live in Germany. But that was cross country skiing. This is what I'm doing now, and I'll be in Kuluswak for at least 7 days before I set off. So that's my kind of practice time. I did have earmarked a week in Norway last month, but I kind of ran out of funds, so couldn't afford to do it. So the quick answer is, that's not very well on the skiing, but I'm sure I'll pick it up. And I'm not going for any world
You're in
records.
Norway. I mean, they hand you a set of skis when you have coffee in the morning. You couldn't find one set of skis?
No. I went there to get my skis from my sponsor, but it was a whole catalogue of screw ups and errors, and it was laughable. And then I just ran out of money in the end. Like, oh shit, I'm in Norway, it's full of snow, but I didn't get any skiing in. But yeah, it'll be that makes the final thing, but slightly more interesting.
Okay, so just like with your kayaking, you barely know how to do something and you're going to go do it.
Yeah,
Again, And that's what I love about the Brits. I knew a guy who had never been in a rowboat before. He was an actor. He still is an actor. Um, and he he was dating my younger sister-in-law, and he came to visit in the U.S. because he was doing something in California. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm going to be rowing across the Atlantic." You know, the Talisker whiskey was doing this row across the Atlantic, and I said, "Bert, I've shaken your hand. You don't have one callus on your hand. Do you even know how to row?" And he goes, "Not yet, mate." And I was like, when are you planning on learning?" He goes, "Oh, I have a rowing machine. I'm going to start rowing in the basement."
That'll do it. Yeah.
And by the way, he made it. He and another guy, it was a tandem guy in one of those big seagoing
Yeah.
kayaks,
Yeah.
and they made it. It
Wow.
took them like weeks and weeks and months and whatever. And yeah, they
Yeah.
went from England to Barbados.
Yeah. It's a long way, huh? Oof.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there
Yeah.
going, Brits will do shit on a bet. It's like, you know, I think you guys end up in the pub with a pint,
Yeah. It's
and the
cause
next
them a
thing
lot
you
of
know, you're
trouble.
in Greenland with a seal, right? So, and I
Yeah.
bring that up because you're going to be in Greenland, and you're not going to have goo. You're not going to have fitness bars to eat. You're not going to have, chips and anything else. You're carrying a dead seal.
Yeah, yeah. So this started out with the science idea because I've been looking into kind of evolutionary diets and anthropology and what we would have been eating over, not just in the last 100 years, but over like 2 million years of evolution. And a lot of that would have been raw and fermented, really stinky, maggoty food. You know a lot about this kind of stuff as well. Yeah, the pH of a healthy stomach is around 1.5 pH, which is not far off of a car battery acid. So trying to get any pathogens and crap through there is pretty difficult. And a healthy microbiome, which is what we've evolved to have over millions of years. We've kind of destroyed that since pretty much World War II, but since the kind of start of the industrial era when we're sanitizing food and killing all bacteria and all this kind of crap. So my thought was, the Inuit have been living successfully in Greenland for like 7,000 years. And before the Danish and the European powers came over, they had to rely just on what was there. So and that's what they thrived on. So I was thinking, wouldn't it be interesting to see if a person, could, in that kind of extreme environment, survive on a nose to tail seal on the the same thing. So loads of fat, organ meat, and muscle meat. And what would happen to my body if I transitioned straight from a Western diet onto this kind of really hardcore carnivore diet? And I'm taking an insulating blanket, which is connected to a solar array, which is going to keep the seal warm because it's minus 25, 30 there for the whole time. So it's going to freeze, it's going to freeze solid. So I've got this little blanket to keep it a nice kind of 5 to 8 degrees. So it's going to ferment slightly as well over the 4 weeks. So we're also analyzing the animal to see how it develops and how its nutrient profile changes over time as it ferments. Because one thing we do know is that the vitamin C, as sea mammal fat kind of gets older and decays and rots, it produces more and more vitamin C, which is one of the reasons Inuit don't have a problem with scurvy. And which kind of they killed like millions of sailors in the 17th and 18th century from Europe because they just
Yeah.
didn't understand where vitamin C came from. So in this barren landscape, nature is providing you vitamin C, which is an incredible thing. And the older the animal gets, the more vitamin C it produces. So there's some interest in what other nutrients and vitamins and stuff can be made, kind of bioavailable to the human as that goes. But also, I'm taking this sled dog with me, mainly as my polar bear warning system because there's shitloads of bears up there. And we're looking at this animal that's been domesticated for like 25, 30,000 years, along with humans. We're looking at if they're eating the same product, do their microbiomes align and that kind of interspecies type alignment and synergy. So I've got a whole bunch of clever scientists looking at all these kind of different things, and there's going to be a lot of poo samples taken as well, which really appeals to my sense of humor. So that's good.
So, with anyone else, I wouldn't ask this question, but with you, I'm got to kind of ask: have you met the dog yet?
No, no, not yet. I'm expecting pictures over the next few hours, actually,
Oh
because
yeah,
because I want a kind of a youngish dog, not so young that it's going to be snapped up in one bite by a bear, but not so old that it's kind of set in its ways and will run off as soon as I disappear on the ice. So I've got to try and bond with this dog. So yeah, kind of a early teenage dog that's got a good bark on it.
Are you going to document this with any kind of filming or anything else? Because I find this fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, I've got drones, GoPros, Insta 360s, all this kind of stuff, and but yeah, and the actual kayak journey was turned into a documentary with Nikolai Coster-Waldau, who is Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones. Got him involved. He narrated it and produced it, and it had its premiere in Copenhagen last week, which was a surreal experience. But yeah, fantastic. It's doing really well. They're trying to sell it to different networks and channels. But on the back of that, we've got a film company involved, and so yeah, they're talking about sending a cameraman up, not to join me, but to get the before and after type shots. But most of it will be shot by me. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to turn that into a documentary as well. So that's going to be it's going to be fascinating. There's going to be some awesome visuals from it as well. It's going to be really amazing.
Yeah, I saw where you had the other documentaries premiere, but we can't watch it yet, right? So there's
Not
no.
yet. No, not yeah. We're in negotiations with people at the moment. So hopefully, as soon as I know, I'll ping you an email, let you know.
Yeah, and we'll bring you back on, even if it's on the Monday show or something when we
Yeah,
have
great.
Anna. So you don't have to stay around for the whole time, but we can, because I can't wait to see it. I hope you sell it to. I hope Amazon is one of the places you sell it, because I know you guys are probably looking for a Netflix deal or an Apple TV deal or whatever. Don't take those deals. Take it from a guy who's done documentaries. Get yourself
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Amazon.
yeah.
Get via the
It's out of
world.
my hands now. It's in the lap of the gods.
It's
So
so
we'll
much
see what
money if
happens.
you do it. You want the most. You can't afford skis right now. You need to do the right thing so you can get paid. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I figured out how to make a few bucks in a documentary. Um, okay, so you're going to have a dog that's going to probably run off, which brings up my next question. Are you going with the rifle again? Please say
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
I got a flare gun, a rifle, brake flares, air horn, bear spray. I got all the deterrents.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
big problem with rifles, when a bear's attacking, I don't think people realize how fast they are. Good luck with the gun. The bear spray is probably your best bet, at least to get them off of you.
yeah.
And then if you find the gun when you're right before you die, then you should try to do that.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
thinking it's not a bad way to go, is it? But yeah, in modern life, there's no heroic deaths. Not that I'm aiming for a bear death, but there are worse ways to go.
well,
So
he
we'll
went
see, we'll see
scooping
what
up poop
happens.
and he became bear poop.
Yeah,
Next
yeah,
on Lifetime.
that's good.
Um,
Yeah, that's good in the
yeah.
gravestone.
So if you, I know a little bit about guns. Do you know the type of rifle you're bringing, or is that something you're going to pick up at the hardware store on the way in?
Yeah. I've got a friend who's going to lend me his bear rifle on the way up. The caliber is 30-06. I think it's a Lee Enfield.
Yeah, Lansfield is one of the British
I think
models.
it's World War
Yeah.
Two or pre World War Two. And
Wait a
because
minute. You're
I
using,
took it.
yeah, Lee Enfield hasn't made rifles for a long time. So don't tell me it's one of those break action rifles where you can only put one bullet in at a
No, no,
time.
no. It's got I think 5 or 6 bullets for the magazine. Yeah,
So it's it's
about
a
that.
bolt action, right?
It's got yeah bolt action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
no,
I know
no
Holland
scope.
and Holland made those kind of rifles for a while, and
Uh huh.
a 30-06 is it's a good, nice flat shooting. I'm a gun guy, so I know
Okay.
a little bit about guns. Um, it's a nice flat shooting round. It's got some power. We use it here for deer, and people use it for I think people use it for elk and stuff. But the gun I have hanging on the wall is it's a .40 gauge. It's what they shot Cape Buffalo with in
Okay.
It's
It's a
one
big
of
one.
those type of, yeah. Um, but yeah, 30-06 is plenty good enough. Just make sure you have high velocity bullets for what you need. Bears are rough.
Yeah.
They're rough.
Yeah, they're pretty experienced up there. Yeah, the 3006 is pretty much only used for those, well, and whales as well, actually. But yeah, the guy I'm borrowing it off knows what he's talking about. So yeah, he's got lots of
Yeah,
bear
you
stuff.
you got enough gun. It's a nice flat shooting gun, and can you practice a little bit before you end up having to shoot at a bear? Just get a box
Definitely,
and shoot at a target. Okay.
absolutely,
It's
yes.
like I'm starting to worry about you. It's like, they gave me a gun. Where's the trigger? I don't know. And,
You should
how do you?
see, yeah. Funnily enough, in Kayak Man, the kayak documentary, it's there's a little piece about me trying the gun for the first time, which yeah, you're definitely going to laugh at if you're a gun guy, because yeah, I'm surprised I got it around the right way.
Oh God. Yeah. You gotta is it open sights or is he putting a scope on that thing?
Yeah, it's iron sights. I might ask him for a scope actually. So
No, 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 no. Stay with iron sights.
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, if a bear is attacking you, you don't have time to sight a bear in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
But
Okay.
ask your buddy what he thinks. But if you're being charged, the last thing you need to do is try to figure out how to use a scope.
Yeah. Yeah,
Again,
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
yeah, you need crosshairs. That's the iron sights. Okay, so you're square on the gun. Don't forget to bring a fork and a knife because you're going to have to cut into the seal
Yeah.
for you and the dog. So, are you and the dog going to eat the same seal, or do you each have your own seal?
We each have our own seal. Yeah. So as soon as we get out there, we'll just pick up two seals.
Okay, and um, Malamute or Husky, what are you getting? Do you know?
The breed is called a Greenland sled dog. So you're not allowed above the Arctic Circle in Greenland. You're not allowed any other type of dog apart from a Greenland sled dog. So yeah, it's like a Husky Malamute type thing.
Yeah, let me look it up. I need to know now.
I'll send you a pic as soon as they send me one.
I bet you it's a cross between the two. Oh, they're beautiful. They're beautiful.
Yeah. They used to they're well, the legend has it that they're descended from the wolves up there. They used to chain the bitches to the ice, and when the wolf packs were there, so they get impregnated by the wild wolves. So apparently that's their lineage.
Yeah, it's also known as the Canadian Eskimo dog. Um, wow. Yeah, I got something to delve into later on today. They're beautiful. They look a lot like a Malamute. So, folks, if you're trying to, and they're sturdy dogs, and yeah, they look like they got a ton of wolf in them. So, oh, look at them just tearing up that carcass.
Yeah,
That's what you know.
they're so
Oh,
hard as well. When they're on the dog teams, they're just out there in -35, -40 C, just curled up, and they've got snow on them and everything, and they're just there outside. It's something, yeah, something else to see.
yeah, I've watched them. When we do the Iditarod every year,
Mhm.
we get a bunch of guys and women out there with the dog sled teams,
Yeah,
and when they take a break at night, the dogs just curl up and in the snow and just cut out, and then snowpack ends up on them, and they're under the snow,
yeah, it's
and they just
incredible.
sleep away. And then the next morning, when the guy bangs the pan that wake up and eat, they just get up and out of the snow. And
Yeah,
so you're gonna be with this dog for a month eating seal,
yeah.
and then you're gonna bond with the dog. You're okay just handing the dog back, or
Nah, I haven't told my wife yet, but I think it's coming back with me.
I think it
Um,
has to.
yeah,
I don't think you have a choice.
definitely not. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that would be a good thing. I can't imagine how much of a nightmare the paperwork's going to be, but I'll get it back somehow.
Yeah, you gotta get that dog back. I'm pulling for you. This is like,
Thanks.
you know, this is like Bambi or, Old Yeller or any,
Oh
you
yeah,
gotta get
yeah.
that dog. You can't bond with a dog for 30 days and then, oh man, I'm gonna get choked up just talking about this. You
That's it.
gotta
My
get
favorite book as
bond
a
with
kid was White Fang. Yeah, Jack London White Fang. That was such a
White Fang,
quality
yeah.
book.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So yeah.
that's a subconscious thing going on, I reckon.
Yeah. Let your wife know on the way out that you're going to be coming home with it. And by the way, do you have a dog or a bitch? Do you know?
It's going to be a bitch, I think, because I've
Oh,
I've got a Dalmatian here in England. He's a boy and he hasn't had the snip yet. So I was thinking, oh, if I bring a bitch Greenland sled dog, a Dalmatian cross with that, I wonder what that would look like. But yeah,
mm,
we'll see what
probably
happens.
not the prettiest dog ever. I'm going to be honest with you. And yeah, I don't know if I'd do
Yeah,
that.
that's
Get
going
the
to look
snip
weird.
done. Tell your wife to take the dog in for the snip before you come home with, because usually they don't, they young dogs, they don't neuter them until they're, 2 or 3 heats in.
Mhm.
It's healthier for them to do that. I'm a big dog freak. I mean, we
Uh,
love dogs around here. All right, so this sounds fascinating. So you're gonna be eating nose to tail on a seal.
yeah.
So, look, I hate organ meat. I just do. I've I mean,
Okay.
you're gonna be eating raw organ meat. I mean, come on.
Yeah. No,
You bringing
I like
salt
it.
or anything? You gonna salt it up?
Yeah, yeah, again, because they've got no wood out there, they haven't got a history of using salt. Yeah, their only kind of salt source was from the sea, so they used to dry seaweed and crumble seaweed over stuff. So, um, I don't think I'm going to be taking salt with it. I'm just going to be, yeah, maybe I'll take some seaweed and season it that way. But I love organ meat. I think it's great, and seal itself has got such a strong taste. It's like venison, but that's been kind of dunked in cod liver oil. Just trying to sell
Yeah,
it here. It's got that.
yeah.
It's got a real strength. It's got a real strong kind of yeah, sea oily taste to it. But it's good. It's good. It's good meat. Yeah, and the
Mm,
organs are
um,
yeah, the organs are all good as well. And the intestines taste great. Yeah, they're a bit chewy if you don't cook them. But I'm just gonna like a toothpaste tube. I'm gonna yeah squirt all the
so,
poo out and then yeah tuck into the intestines.
and you don't worry about getting disease from the seal crap?
No, not too. No, not really. I've eaten a lot of weird shit. Yeah, maggoty stuff and all that, and I'm fairly comfortable with it. I'm a little bit worried about botulism or any kind of serious food poisoning, but I kind of know the signs to look for if that is the case, and I will have an emergency, yeah, break glass type food thing like ration packs just in case a bear comes and eats the seal or whatever. So that yeah, I won't be totally dry if the seal disappears. But hopefully I'll be able to last the whole 4 weeks just on the seal. So it's gonna give us some really interesting results. We got this amazing nutritionist on board. They're taking like a couple of liters of blood from me. It sounds like to do all these tests. And I'll be returning with a couple of kilos of human and dog shit as well. So that's gonna be someone's fun job.
Wow. Alright. Speaking of break glass, I was gonna get here, but we're here now. So, break glass situation, you get sick out there, they can't really get a helicopter out there to come get you, you
No,
know?
no, no, no. Yeah, it's expensive to get the helicopter out. Yeah, I have a personal beacon and a sat phone and stuff, so I can call if I get in serious trouble. But yeah, that's gonna blow my insurance premiums sky high.
Yeah, I
So
got a feeling.
I don't really want
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, whenever I've been in France or whatever and you take out that insurance, if a helicopter has to come get you, you better have some money on you because, that's not a cheap date.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I think the
yeah,
minimum is 60,000 euros. So that's what's that, $80,000, something like that.
yeah,
Which
yeah, you
yeah,
would have to mortgage your house or something
bit
just to.
spare change.
Yeah, yeah, you had trouble buying skis. I don't think you're gonna be able to.
Yeah, I know.
80,000. I don't know about you, but that's a rough day around here. My wife would probably go, "Ah, just let him go. He was a good
Yeah,
man." Yeah.
he's he's had a good crack. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's had enough time here. Just let him rock. Yeah. Folks, I'm sure that Mike would love to have Villa Capelli olive oil on his trip, but hell, he's not going to take it because he's not even taking salt. So I wish I can convince him to take some Villa Capelli because it can make his seal taste so much better. If you want to get some Villa Capelli on your seal at home, you know, the one that you cook, good seal liver, seal intestine. You really want to spruce it up, you want Villa Capelli olive oil. That's what you want every time because just like Mike's naturally occurring seal, Villa Capelli is naturally occurring. There's no seed oils mixed in, there's no perfumes, there's no colorant, there's nothing. It's pure olive oil from Puglia, Italy. You want to get some of it? Go right now. You want to save some money? Put my name in, Vinnie, Vinnie at checkout, 10% every time. If you spend over $135 after the Vinnie discount, they'll also give you free shipping. So buy a lot of olive oil. The stuff does not go bad. Just keep it in a cool, dry place, and it will last as long as you need it to. Look, I'm talking to a man who's going to Greenland with a dilapidated seal. I'm telling you guys, you can keep this olive oil fresh forever. So go right now, Villa Capelli, promo code Vinnie, Vinnie, no wimpy Y, and you'll get 10% every single time. We're talking to Mike Keene. Mike, I'm endlessly fascinated. Where do you live in England?
In the east, little county called Suffolk. For England, it's kind of rural by the east coast. So yeah,
Okay.
it's
All
a
right.
nice
So
little county.
what's it near? Give me
It's only an
something.
hour. It's only an hour north of London, so it's pretty close.
Okay. So, if you want to, maybe you don't. Next time I come, we need to hang out. That's if you
Yeah,
make
yeah,
it
yeah.
out of Greenland, because usually my sister-in-law lives up in Rutland now, so we usually leave London and go straight up to Rutland.
Yeah, that's not too
Um,
far. That's 3 or 4 hours. Everywhere in
yeah,
England's pretty close, so compared
yeah.
to the States. So yeah,
They take me
yeah.
over to Leicester to watch
Come down.
soccer.
You can come and meet the Greenland sled dog.
I would love to. First, you need to get across that 220 miles, and then you have to get out of there, and
Yeah,
you and your poop and your
that's
dog and
assuming I
all of
make
it.
it.
No,
Yeah.
you got to make it. I'm not worried about it. Um, this is what am I missing here? Because I can just go on and on with you. It's just a fascinating idea that you go into these things not really like I would overtrain, I would over prepare, I would over everything. You're like, nah, I'll ski when I get there. I'll take a gun when I get there.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
always been that way, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm pulling tires around the fields of Suffolk at the moment, so that's kind of given me a little bit of training and doing some gym work. Um, and yeah, from from the kayak experience, yeah, I'm a lot more or a lot wiser than I would have been otherwise. I'm not totally green going into it, and I've made some good adventurer pals as well who have given me some pointers. But as ever, YouTube is a great teacher for this kind of stuff. So yeah, I've been leaning on that a fair bit. But I think it's a good message to people out there that you don't have to be some kind of ex special forces athlete to do some interesting stuff. Don't let your fear of the experience or that kind of imposter syndrome hold you back. Just pick an adventure, even if it's just a weekend in a new place up in the mountains. Just go see what happens. It's the older you get, the more you realize, oh shit, I wish I'd done that when I was younger, or I wish I'd had a go at that. So now's the time, seize the day, go and do it.
Yeah, I seem to talk a lot about that lately because I feel like there's more time behind me than in front of me. Well, it's not a feeling; it's the truth.
Yeah.
And I think about my old friend, the actor Bert, who got in a rowboat and started
Yeah.
rowing, right, and made it. Right, that was the amazing part. And I said, I said to him, I said, Bert, what did you do in preparation? He goes, well, I talked to a guy, like, it's Brits, right? He goes, I talked to a guy who had done a similar thing. And he said, here's what you do. One night, get on your rowing machine, put a bucket next to yourself on one side and a big gallon of water on the other side, turn off the lights, be in complete darkness, and row until you think you've rowed 8 hours nonstop. And he goes, the bucket is for if you have to pee, you get up and you pee in a bucket, and you better remember which is on which side, but I guess in the water jug is on the other side. And he said, just go for 8 hours in complete darkness. Don't put earbuds in. Don't listen to music. Don't do anything. Just be in sensory deprivation for that amount of time. And I said, Bert, how long did you go? He goes, I went like 7 hours and 20 minutes, which they thought was great because most people would at the 2 or 3 hour mark would go, this has got to be 8 hours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he was in a basement. It was completely dark. He couldn't see anything, and he just went,
Huh.
right? And that's when he told me that. I said, "Okay, I think you're gonna make it because that's lunatic shit right there."
Yeah,
Right?
that's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. But most
Yeah.
people, and I love what you said there, Mike. You you're not a Green Beret. You're not a SEAL Team 6 guy. You're none of these things.
Mhm.
You're just the average guy. I'll look at you. You look like the average guy. And you go out and you do these amazing things, which I find extraordinary, to be quite honest. What type of advice would you give to people who want to maybe not try something this extreme, but maybe go out and run a marathon or maybe go out and find that mountain they want to climb or what have you? Any advice?
Yeah, just yeah, get out of your comfort zone. Just do something. Don't do the thing you do every weekend or every time you take a vacation. Just do something totally different. Even if it's a hike up a different mountain or a mountain on the other side of the states or wherever you are. Just do it, and then it's really easy to get kind of, like I said, that kind of imposter syndrome, because every little whatever you do, whether it's kayaking or hiking or mountain climbing, they've all got their little cliques, their little gangs, and it's quite easy to feel that you're an outsider and you're looked down upon, and you're not skilled enough, or you haven't got the right equipment and all this kind of stuff. The internet's a fantastic resource to use. You can do a hell of a lot of prep on the internet, and you can meet like-minded people, but just go for it. Don't do anything irresponsible. The more research and kind of background work you can do on the internet, the better. Like your guy talking to a guy who says row for 8 hours. That's a great piece of advice, and anyone can do that. So yeah, don't be afraid. Otherwise, you just end up regretting it. And it doesn't have to be anything amazing. You don't have to kayak up the coast of Greenland. Pick a smaller one. If you're not the fittest, just say I'm gonna go and hike for 20 miles this weekend. Just do that. Go, take a mate with you. Grab a tent. It's great. It's really good, and you'll have really shitty times, guaranteed. But the crappy times are the ones that stick in your mind, and that's where you get the good memories. Remember that time when that bear ate all our food, and you soiled your pants. That's hilarious. There's good stories.
Listen, I've always said, I romanticize all of the rough. I used to be an ultra cyclist and did all the stuff, and
Yeah.
someone says, which races do you really remember? And I always comment that I don't remember many of the races, even when I had a professional mountain bike contract doing the 24-hour mountain bike thing.
Yeah.
I remember the training, right? I romanticize about the training. It's just something, because I used to say this when I played football, the real football, the American football. Yeah.
Yeah.
We would start training in August, and we trained every day, right? And we only played 10 games per season.
Yeah.
And someone told me one time, he goes, you're the only idiot that looks like he's having fun at practice. And I said, because practice is 90% of what we do.
Yeah.
It's clearly 90%. So if you're not enjoying practice, you're
Yeah.
not enjoying the sport, right?
Yeah.
And I think people lose track of that sometimes. You know, well, I was just talking to a guy going, and it's like telling someone to explain to you, a blind guy, why the sky is blue if he's blind. What do you tell him? And this guy called me up. This is right before we got on the phone. He's like, Vinny, I want to run a marathon with, I think it was a half marathon with my son, and he's 280 pounds. And Sean, I'm talking about you. So when you hear this podcast, you'll know I'm talking about you. And he goes, I want to lose some weight. I want to run this half marathon. And he's got a good run up to do it. And I said, you know what? You need to start embracing, it's just time on your feet. You don't have to go out and run. Just go out and walk. Turn a
Yeah.
walk into a jog. And then when you want to walk again, just start walking again. Don't hate the process. Enjoy the process. And you'll get there. And I think that's what most people miss. That you're going to have these adventures. When I think about what you're going to do, William what was it?
Shackleton.
Shackleton. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shackleton comes to mind. William Shackleton comes to mind, right? He didn't lose one person on that expedition.
Yeah, incredible.
Nobody knew about it because it happened during World War I, right? And they ended up having to eat a lot of their dogs, right?
Yeah, all of them, yeah.
Yeah, and that's how they survived. And he got every man back, but they took great chances and they did what they had to do. Why couldn't I remember his name was Shackleton just now? I must be getting old. I remembered it was William, but Shackleman, what was his name? Sheckler, what was his name? It happens when we get old. But when you talk, it reminds me of Shackleton and what they had to do, right? Do you ever think about adventures like that?
I'll take that. Yeah, another thing in like today's world is there's that comparison as well. Every time you open up social media, you'll be flooded with thousands of people who have done what you're intending to do, and they've broken the world record, and there's always someone who's going to do it better and faster and with more equipment or less equipment or whatever. Just try to get rid of that lot and just do it for yourself. And I'm not out there to break any world records. I'm just out there to enjoy it and to come back with some good data and research and something that can hopefully educate people. I'm trying very hard not to compare myself because there's loads of Arctic explorers out there breaking world records all the time, but I'm not really aiming for that, and I don't think you should. It's not healthy. It's not healthy to compare yourself like that the whole time, which is one of the big things about social media at the moment. So try and get off that and get off that treadmill and just do it for yourself.
Yeah, we jokingly say around here, if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen. If you don't put it on Instagram, it didn't happen. I had the guy on the show a couple of years ago, the guy that broke the record walking across, I want to say the South Pole.
Okay.
And then he wrote a book called The 12-Hour Walk.
Uh-huh.
Because he was walking approximately 12 hours a day and day in and day out when he broke the record. There was another guy, they were going back and forth. They started at the same time.
Uh-huh.
And the other guy said, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't want to talk. So he just started walking in silence. And he ended up beating the other guy. And I wish I could remember the guy's name right now. His book was called The 12-Hour Walk. I'll look it up while I'm talking here. And he came on the show because he was talking about how people should just go out and just, let's see, 12-hour walk. Here's the guy right here. Colin O'Brady. I don't know if you've heard of Colin O'Brady. But he came on the show and he said, yeah, you should just go out, one day and walk for 12 hours. Don't bring a phone. Don't bring, earbuds. Don't do anything. Just walk for 12 hours and just get into your thoughts. So we talked about that. Just like right now, you and I are doing a podcast at 5:15 in the evening, my time. I got off the thing with Colin and I said, you know what? Tomorrow seems like a good day to go for 12 hours.
Uh-huh.
And he said you can make up your own rules. You can sit down whenever you want. You can do whatever you want. And I told myself, here are my rules. I'm not bringing any phone. I'm bringing water in a backpack. So I'm going to only have water and electrolytes. My company, purevitaminclub.com, makes an electrolyte. So it's just a little capsule. So I have water and salt because it was going to be close to 85, 90 degrees that day here, Fahrenheit. And the rule was I'm not going to talk to anyone all day long.
Mhm.
And so I won't speak for 12 hours. But I had the wherewithal right before I left to put a pencil and a piece of paper in my pocket.
Yeah.
And every time I had a thought about someone who, like weird thoughts, as you know, when you're out there for hours, you start thinking about people who were in your life 30, 40 years ago. And this, I was like, what happened to that guy? And I would write his name down and I would
Yeah.
write different things down. I actually cured all the problems of the world just walking in silence for 12 hours, not sitting.
Yeah.
The only time I stopped moving was if I went behind a tree to take a leak,
Yeah.
because, nature called a few times. But my feet didn't stop and I didn't sit down. And by the time I got back home, it was close to 13 hours.
Yeah.
And I looked at my watch. I didn't look at my watch all day, but I had a Garmin watch on. And I should have taken my beacon that day, just so that my wife. I had covered close to 40 miles
Huh.
of just walking around the city that I don't really know. We had just moved here a couple of years before during
Yeah.
COVID, so I didn't really learn the city. Now I know the city inside and out. I know I was like, oh, I got to go back to that coffee shop one day. Oh, look, there's a little shop over here. Oh, there's a hardware store there, old timey one. I want to go there.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that stuff, right? Until I did Colin O'Brady's walk.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's amazing. But yeah. Until you do that kind of thing, you don't appreciate that you've probably never done that before. You probably never, I went for like 6 or 7 days, a couple of times on the kayak, not seeing a single other human. And before, and I had to really think back to, have I ever spent a day where I've never spoken to another person? Just things like that. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, Christ, that's, if look how long humans have been on the planet, and that must have been, by far the biggest part of our kind of, evolutionary time would have been spent in tiny groups, a lot of it by ourselves, so that is kind of ingrained, embedded in our DNA to do that kind of thing. But we just don't do it anymore. We have to fill the time with phones or music, or looking at stuff, or watching telly or something like that. So like that is an adventure in itself. Just taking yourself away. It doesn't have to be a physical adventure, but just like not talking to someone for 12 hours. That's really hard to do. Trying to escape to do something like that is difficult. But yeah, you're right. It just takes your mind down different avenues, back to things that you could have done or should have done or would have done. It's a really good exercise to do.
I can't remember. Did you tell me the last time what type of kayak did you use
It was
when you did?
a P&HC kayaks, a Scorpio. So it was a kind of a bomb-proof plastic. It wasn't a carbon fiber or anything like that, because you're just
No,
dragging it
carbon
over
fiber,
ice.
you would have cracked up in 2 seconds.
Yeah. It would, and you're dragging it over ice the whole time, or rocks. You need a bomb-proof kayak for that.
And did that work out for you? I
Yeah, it
mean,
was great. It was probably heavier than a carbon fiber, but again, I'm not an experienced kayaker, so I don't really know. Don't really know what to look for. I just spoke to the manufacturer who was going to give me a kayak. Boom, got it. I guess it was heavy. It was like 27 kilo, but it was fantastic. Yeah, no problems at
yeah,
all.
the only advantage to I have a carbon fiber, and it's made out of 2 or 3 fibers, and it weighs about 28 pounds.
Uh-huh.
It's a sea kayak, but there's no chines on them,
Right.
so
Okay.
they're made just to go fast. It's
Yeah.
made by Stellar,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh, Stella.
yeah, so it's just made to go fast. I'm good friends with the guy that made the Epic kayaks and all those,
Uh-huh.
and you know those boats are made. They flip over, like even if you know what you're doing, you flip over in them.
Yeah.
And then I decided I wanted to build a kayak, so I built one out of cedar. And it was
Huh.
one of those things where it's one of those things where you go, one day I'm going to build a cedar strip kayak,
Yeah.
right? And then you look around and you go, fuck, I'm almost 60 and I haven't started my cedar. And then I found this guy, Joey Schott, who had a shop that, a woodworking shop, and he knew how to build kayaks. And I said, Joey, can I come in and you teach me how to build a kayak? And he said, "Sure could." Here, I'm going to show you a picture of my kayak. I don't know if you can see it. I
Oh
built
yeah.
this kayak out of
Wow.
cedar strips, and
That's
when I
that's
put it in the
gorgeous.
water, people say to me, "It's like, oh my god, I can't. That thing is a work of art. I can't believe you're going to put it in the water." And I tell everyone, if I owned a Ferrari, I would be taking that fucking thing to the grocery store every day, right? Because why look at it
Yeah.
when you can drive it, right?
Yeah.
By the way, I don't think at my current income I'll be getting a Ferrari any day soon. But if something
Yeah.
happens, you know,
I,
you never know. But yeah, same with the kayak. It's like I'm not going to build that thing and put it in a thing, and I want to scratch it up. I want it to have a patina, you
give
know.
it some character. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if you ever want to borrow it to go up, I'll get it out to Greenland for you. And,
Oh
you know,
yeah. It looks beautiful.
it's a tough kayak. Yeah, you would love it. Not very warm though, so we'll see. Anything else we need to know before I let you go, Mike?
Um, the yeah, the whole green. I've got this bigger experiment starting in September. I'll just touch on it briefly because it could be
No, no, I
another
want to
one
hear about it.
if you have me
I'm
back.
always
Uh,
fascinated.
So I'm doing a year-long experiment. So basically, over the last 2 million years, humankind has had three different diets. So hunter-gatherer, agricultural, and industrial, which we're living through now. And what I'm doing is I'm spending 3 months on each of those diets. So 3 months on hunter-gatherer, 3 months on agricultural, and 3 months on industrial. And industrial will be 60% of my calories will be from ultra-processed food.
Oh God.
Full medical tests, and I've got a fantastic advisory panel here in the UK of experts from all across the food industry, anthropology, science, all this kind of stuff. And what we're looking at is the results of those three diets. Which one screwed me up, which one was good for me, which aspects were good. And then we're trying to find the optimum human diet for modern day, but taking into account 8 billion people on the planet, changing climate, animal welfare, all this kind of stuff, and all of that trying to operate within a capitalist system, which is the big ask. So, is there a way to get the cherry pick the best bits of all those the three diets that we've had for the last 2 million years? Can we pick the best bits out of that will suit today's environment? You know, on paper, I think it's going to be the hunter gatherer, but in reality, it's going to be very different because you've got all those other factors to contend with. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. And I'm traveling I'm spending some time with these shepherds in Transylvania, in Romania, in the mountains, because they've got these ancient dogs and ancient sheep, and that were designed to scare away bears and wolves from their sheep. So yeah, I'm visiting a whole bunch of cool places as I test these different diets out on myself. So I'm really looking forward to that one. It's going to be good.
Mike, please tell me that you're going to have a camera on you at all times doing
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Well,
That's
if
going
there's
to be the documentary. You're going to beat Morgan Spurlock. Do you know who he is?
yeah, supersize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is taking Morgan Spurlock, who's no longer with us, by the way. I don't know if you know
No,
that.
yeah, I know
Yeah, he
that. Yeah.
passed away. Folks, if you want to look up Morgan Spurlock, he did a great documentary way back called Supersize Me. And this would take Morgan Spurlock to the next level. And
Yeah, I
I'm
hope
going to
so.
give you
Yeah.
my prediction ahead of time, right?
It's
Um,
yeah. It's going to be interesting. If there's any producers out there, film guys, just get in touch because it's going to be an incredible. We're
you-
looking.
you're talking to one, Mike. You're talking to one. I've done 4 documentaries.
Yeah, I'm aware. So yeah. It's going to be good. We're pitching it as a 6-part series, and it's going to be really interesting visually, but the actual education, because people just don't know about anthropology and what we're supposed to eat. Here in England, kids don't get taught about food in schools. They don't get taught about where your food comes from or how to shop. Nothing like that at all. If you're lucky, you'll end up leaving school and you'll have made a couple of Victoria sponge cakes, and that's it. That's about the limit of what you're taught about food, which is a terrible situation to be in. So, yeah, I'm part of a couple of groups that are trying to change that and trying to educate kids and not make them so reliant on kind of ready meals and big food and big farms. So
Everybody knows that your food comes from Waitrose. I don't know what you're in the
yeah,
story. You don't need 6 episodes.
Waitrose if you've got a bit of spare money. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So Look, if you want to talk to me off the air, that's people ask me why I'm not doing documentaries anymore. I said because I'm tired of talking about my bullshit. But man, I would get behind this in a second, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's chat. I'll
Yeah,
email you my the details. Yeah, for
yeah. And
sure.
I'll see if I can get my team together and go, hey, if you have the footage, we can cut it. We can cut it,
Yeah,
and then if you want to sell it through your people, or I can figure out how to sell it on this end, we might be able to go big on this.
yeah,
I had no idea. I'm sitting here, folks. This is me trying to make a deal in the middle of a podcast. No, and if I can't help you, maybe I know someone who can, which might be the case because I don't need to do. As you know, documentaries do not make you rich. You scratch it. Documentaries, you scratch and claw your way right back to zero, and you call that a win.
Yeah. I'm still paying off my credit card from the Greenland kayak trip. So yeah.
Oh yeah. It takes a minute.
Usual
So
story.
yeah, it's just, and people go, well, you make all this money on on these documentaries. It's like, yeah, you got to remember, if I make $1 million, I was more than $1 million in the hole when I started. Like I was the guy who put that money out,
Yeah.
and then your asshole is clamped tight, hoping that the money comes back.
Yeah.
It's
I've
rough.
been there. Yeah.
It's a rough world, man. Man, I really think that's going to be. So you got this one documentary that's going to come out. You're filming this nose to tail with you and a boy and his dog, a rather epic tale of survival. Yeah, I can see it right now.
That's it.
I'm already doing the VO. Let me do the VO, and then the third one, you're up there with some monk with his dog chasing off bears.
Yeah.
By the way, I think it's going to be number one. The number one diet is going to be hunter gatherer, followed by industrial, followed by farming,
agriculture.
Agriculture, and then I think that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah. I think so. It's just how do we turn that into a modern diet that's actually good for you instead of what the big supermarkets think's good for you, which is clearly not good for you. But yeah,
that's going to be the crux of it all. I mean, but you can tell that story, and I think you said 4 to 6 episodes.
Yeah,
you could probably tell that story in at least you would need at least 4 episodes, 50 minutes each, maybe more. But yeah, wow, I'm excited for you, brother.
Thank you very much.
Please keep me posted. Mike, don't go away because we have to wait till this cures and fixes itself once I say goodbye to everyone.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Folks, you know what to do. We all go shopping on Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com, click through the banner, puts a little coal on the fire, gets my train down the track, and I'm able to keep this show free for 1 million years in a row. Also, PureVitaminClub.com. PureVitaminClub.com. I would send Mike some of these vitamins, but he's doing it the old-fashioned way before exogenous vitamins happen. By the way, I was going to mention this earlier, Mike. The reason they called British limeys is because they would eat limes to try to get some vitamin C when they were on boats and this and that and the whole thing. Yeah, that's how you guys became limeys.
Yeah,
everything like that has a reason. They called us Dagos in this country. I'm Italian.
Yeah,
because the landowners, when the Italians got here in the early 1900s, they figured out that the lira is like it's 10,000 lira is like a penny. So they figured out the Italians couldn't really do the math yet. So they would say, "Hey, we'll pay you at the end of the week," and they figured out they were getting screwed. So the Italians at the end of each day would go, "Dago." You mean the day went by? Dago. If you didn't pay me, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. So calling them Dagos. Yeah. Next week when we explain where the kaiko, what the kaiko was and where that ended up, you can do the math. That's how good. Everything has a reason, right? And that's how everything becomes a derogatory term. I was in the middle of saying goodbye to everyone. PureVitaminClub.com. You can also go to purecoffeeclub.com and get the best coffee in the world. It's not me talking, it's just the truth. On behalf of Mike Keene, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Let's put life into living and do it with a little more of Miss Natalie